They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Well, the way some of the dudes on the show were acting this episode seems like it might apply to them as well. Let's get into it. What up, y'all? I'm Christopher Markland, author of the Desperately Seeking series of books, with book number 3, Desperately Seeking Clarity, to be released soon. And it's set in New Orleans, you heard me? Anyway, welcome to my review/analysis of episode 7 of Ready to Love. This week we have Amber, Alexis, Chrysanthemum, Kyra, Liz, and Vernicia. But this week, the fellas have the power, so one of the ladies will be eliminated, which means they will be sent home.
So this week, it's time to call in the reinforcements. The people who always have your back. I want you to introduce these ladies to your closest friends.
Y'all, I'm personally not a fan of this because these dudes don't even know the women well themselves, much less be trying to introduce them to their friends. I get it. It's good to get their friends' input and feedback on their friends. So that's good in that respect. However, these dudes really don't even know the women, don't know who they really want. It's kind of confusing, and honestly, it's too much too soon. So that's just my opinion, though.
That crab look good, so what you got us here for?
You asked me 2 questions, baby. Yeah,
Well, I said the crab look good because I know you know how to cook crab, so I'm waiting on mine.
Okay, well, I
So I was
mean,
waiting on that.
got a little lady, you dig. It's been a while, you heard me?
So first up, you heard me, is Joel, you dig? He's going to be introducing his baby Vernicia to his friends Bongo, Precise, and Shay, you dig? So first of all, y'all, I know I've said it before. His house is so sterile. Like I said, there's nothing personal on the walls, on the fridge. It just seems to be just clean. And I get it. If that's his house, I know production's trying to make it as clean as possible. But when you look at that and then you couple that with the fact that for whatever reason, my man is cooking crab legs in the sink while wearing a salmon colored jacket, or sport coat, I should say, it's just a weird aesthetic to me. I don't know what they're going for. Because, I mean, if you're cooking crab legs, you're going to be cooking it on the stove, I hope, right? You heard me? I don't understand that. So, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if you all know or not, but I have been seeing a very lovely young lady by the name of Amber.
Look at this cheese on his face. Look at this Kool-Aid with the cheese on the
I'm
face.
seeing something there.
So, Chris is introducing his Amber to his friends. And you know what? There's something about new love that it does make you glow. It does make you smile. It does make you happy. And your friends, your real close friends, they see that. They feel that. And, you hear them talking about the glow, the happiness or whatever. It's just something about new love. And when you know it's real and you feel it, you exude it. It's part of your aura. So it's kind of cool to see, and especially with his friends pointing it out.
Do they know about Chris?
My family does not.
Well,
Yeah, I haven't told my family of Chris yet.
Why not?
Well, I'm gonna wait to tell them.
Do your friends know about Chris?
I haven't told anyone yet.
y'all, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, too many times, especially in social media era, we run out and tell our business early and often. Think about it. If you swipe right and it's a match, do you then go out there and call your family, call your friends and be like, hey, it's a match? No, you let things develop. You let things grow. For me, there's a saying that I kind of live by, and it's a wise man once said nothing at all. And that definitely applies to your relationships, especially in the early stages. I get it. People want to know, but, sometimes you got to keep it quiet, play it close to the vest, and let things develop. And then you can tell whoever the hell you want to about it.
I get it, because I hadn't told anyone about Amber up until that moment myself. And you don't want to broadcast too early. What if it doesn't work out?
Like I said, we live in a social media era where people put their every move, their every mood, their everything on social media, whether it's Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. If they're thinking it, if they're feeling it, damn it, because they are putting everything out there for public consumption. Not everything is everybody's business, especially when it comes to your new relationship. Keep some things to yourself, and you don't need to share everything. It's your business. Keep it private.
I plan to be the first couple to get married. I feel like I ain't come here to play.
You ready to get married because she's...
Well, no.
You want to be married?
Boy, that went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Dang, dog.
And this right here is where the wheels start to come off. And it also, to me, reinforces why you don't need to have your friends all up in your business. Vernisha never said that, oh, we're going to get married tomorrow. What she said is that she didn't come, essentially what she's saying is that she did not come on the show for a pen pal. She didn't come on the show for somebody she can text back and forth with. She came on the show to find someone that she would eventually marry. And the person right now that's fitting the bill is Joel because of their connection. However, if you notice that his homeboy, I think it's that's Precise. I don't know which one of them dudes it was, but one of them, his reaction like, oh snap, and then you see Joel reacting to that. That's one of them things where she never said, hey, we're going to get married tomorrow. She just said, yeah, I want us to be the first ones to get married, off the show, meaning that we have such a strong connection that it leads to marriage. And it just, his reaction was way over the top based on what she was saying.
Don't stamp me yet, you heard me? Like, give me a chance to make sure I ain't tripping that you really that one.
Maybe I'm missing something, but I didn't hear her propose to Joel. What she said in response to a question was that she's serious about, him. She likes him. She's serious about the process, and she ultimately wants them dating to lead to marriage. That's what intentional dating is all about. His reaction, y'all, reminds me there's a lot of times dudes say they want something, and then when they get it, they start backpedaling away and hemming and hawing and trying to find reasons, find problems where there are none. And it's like if she's giving him what he wants and vice versa, why is there all of a sudden an issue? It just is not adding up.
I can't fake the phone, and I can trust him when he says something. Okay.
That is something.
Yeah.
Oh, is that something
that's
you
one of
guys
his
do?
top qualities. No, KG.
No,
That's
that's him.
good.
He's
One
a
of
man
the-
of his word.
Boy, there is something to be said about being a man of your word, meaning that, you say what you mean what you say, and the people that know you know that they can pretty much take your word to the bank, meaning you're solid. It's rare. It's a dying trait amongst men these days because a lot of dudes they're just built different, and I just, for the life of me, just don't get where the shift happened. But anyway, I'm glad to see that, Chris's friends are reinforcing the fact that he's that kind of dude. And Amber said it because she's seen it in him, and his friends who've known him longer obviously have seen it as well.
What you got?
Well, I think she's nice.
Okay.
There was a few red flags for me that kind of come up.
Did you heard? She said she's territorial.
That's one of those things that I had a problem with. I'm like, when you tell me you're territorial, that's a problem for me.
Y'all, I'm sorry, but I'm calling bullshit on this one. What woman, or even what man, what person who has a significant other that they care about, that they value, isn't territorial to a certain extent? Think about it. Do you think Joel would be cool with AJ or Ron or David's coming around and trying to push upon Vernisha? Nah, he'd have a problem with that. That's being territorial. If you know that the person that you're interested in really is a special person, then hell, you don't want nobody around them. Even in a poly relationship, there's a territorial aspect of it to a certain extent. So I don't understand what the hell he's talking about, but it makes no sense.
Shay, she said it herself. She was like, I can tell she's a little clingy. Shay picked it up, which made me realize that I wasn't tripping.
What if it's not a drill and she is authentic and she really cut for him? I'm thinking, on a positive note, she probably really digging you.
We gotta agree to disagree.
Huh? When first we go from territorial and now she's clingy. When the hell did that happen? It's like this dude is reaching to try and find a damn problem where there isn't one. It's like he's adding in stuff, and like I said, we don't know what's been going on behind the scenes. We don't know what kind of phone calls, what kind of conversations, what kind of texts. We don't know these things. Obviously, we don't know also what has been edited out and a lot of things. I get it. Once again, this is reality show, editing and production. So we see what they ultimately want us to see. However, just taking everything at face value, first she's territorial, now she's clingy, and it's like the goalpost, the ball is just continuously being moved, and I haven't seen anything to demonstrate or to show why he's reacting the way that he's reacting. It doesn't make sense. And once again, this is kind of where, for me, why you don't want to have your friends all up in your business too much anyway, because all of these people are adding some seasoning to the gumbo, baby. You heard me? So it's like all of this stuff now is getting thicker and It's like just being layered on, and once again, it don't make no damn sense.
Oh, okay. I didn't expect this. Kyra's here too.
How you doing, honey? Good to see you.
You too.
Liz being there, I don't want to say I did not feel away completely, but my focus was on Jason.
They've done this several times on the show. It's like, why a double date? And then if it is going to be a double date, why not let the other person know who's going to be there? Yeah, I'm not a fan of ambushes, and I get it. They're all adults. I understand that it's not going to break out into fisticuffs. And y'all, for the record, I love that word fisticuffs. It just never fails to make me smile, man. It's just funny to me. Anyway, I get it. It shouldn't break out into fisticuffs. However, you should give each one of those women, and if it's one of the guys being, brought up on a quote unquote double date, they should know as well, because it's just a common courtesy. Hey, such and such is going to be there. That's all you got to do. But, for that person just to walk in and be like, oh, such and such is here too. Nah, you don't do that. You let that person know, you give them the courtesy and say, hey, let's do such, or let's go here, and keep in mind or bear in mind that I'm going to invite this other person as well. It's the least you can do is common courtesy.
Are you like an alpha female?
I want to be in a relationship where the man is the man of the house. I don't want to wear the pants in a relationship. I feel like far too many times in the Black family, like you see Big Mama really run the household. I truly want my man to be the man of the house. That's very, very, very important to me.
I said at the very beginning of this particular season that things are out of order. And this is especially when it comes to dating, and especially when it comes to the roles of men and women in a traditional relationship. All right. Now, men hunt, women nurture. That's traditionally how it's been in Western society for I don't know how long. And when things are out of order, where now the women are hunting and the men, things just tend to break whenever you do them out of order. So let me tell you a little story. For me, I used to drive trucks. And when you're hauling a heavy load, 80,000 pounds is your total gross, you start out in first gear, and on a typical 10-speed engine, you start out in first, and then you gradually increase speed and you move up to 10th gear. Once you hit 10th gear, you don't have a lot of power, but what you do have is the speed and the momentum to keep moving. You don't start out in fourth gear, then drop down to third, and then jump up to eighth, and then maybe come back down to, no, you go in order and you progress. Things in order. If you try to do that thing out of order, one, the damn load, your truck ain't gonna move, and two, you're gonna probably blow up the damn engine. The same thing happens when it comes to dating and when it comes to relationship. When things are done out of order, sooner or later, they're gonna break down, and then they're gonna explode and just dissolve into nothing. You have to go in order if you want things to work and progress properly and naturally.
I do want to be married within the next 5 years.
Of course, living in reality, stuff don't happen on time a lot of times. So what if it do meet 5 years and you guys are not married? How would you handle it then?
5 years, bro, if I'm the one or not. So
Yeah.
I've been in that type of situation before.
Quiet as it's kept, men know pretty quickly when we found the right one. Now, we may play around with it, make it more difficult than we have to, but the reality is we know. Now, it may take us a while to formalize it, but it doesn't take us that long to figure it out. What happens a lot of times is that us dudes, we snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. What that means is we find ways to make a problem where there aren't any. Look at Joel right now. He knew from the first episode when he first met her, like, yo, that's the one of the ladies on the show. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, he should drop the one knee at the second or third episode. I'm not saying that, but he knew that, yo, that's the one for me. Look at David. Same thing. It's like after the first conversation or maybe the first date, they both knew that, hey, this particular woman sitting across from me, that's the one that really has my attention. Now, instead of them solidifying that, it seems like they are once again backpedaling and coming up with all of these excuses as to why it's not so, and that's where the problem comes in.
Liz, I feel like she's a
Stiff.
sitting by her, like I can feel the Lord's presence. Like I don't
Bro,
I'm sorry.
you silly. Yo, that's my kind of funny right there. That just speaks to my silly ass sense of humor. She said that she just felt the presence. Anyway, okay, so Jason is actually only 4 years younger than Liz. He's 36, she's 40. So there's not really a huge age difference. However, there's a youthful energy to Jason, whereas Liz has a more refined maturity to her. You know, she has that church lady vibe, not in a bad way. I'm just saying she just has that, like I said, that refined maturity to her. So the energy that they put off seems to be different, and therefore she seems to be older than he is. You know, much older. That's just how it comes across. So that's one of the reasons I think that his friends called her stiff. She's not really stiff. However, the energy that she puts out is so mature, and, her stature just seems to come off that way.
I'm gonna flip it and use this time to see if there was anything that I had not yet discovered about him that his friends would, unveil. What's the dirt? What's the tea? Do y'all think that he is really ready?
Most people don't realize that an interview is not just about the interviewer asking the candidate if questions to see if they're a good fit for the company. It's also the opportunity for the interviewee to ask questions about the company that they are potentially going to be employed for. It's not just about asking about the compensation. It's about asking about the company culture to make sure that you are a good fit for that company is a good fit for you, just like they're asking to see if you're a good fit for them. The same thing applies when you're dating. I'm not a fan of just interview style questions on a date. Things should happen a certain way. However, as you see here, Kyra is taking the opportunity to ask questions about AJ to his friends in order to see, okay, is everything that she's seeing and hearing from him, does it match up with what his friends see as well? That's what, if you're going to meet the friends, that's what it should be. Not just them grilling you and asking, all kinds of questions. No, you should be asking questions in return, so that way both parties can get a good idea as far as who you are.
Like this.
I like it.
I know he does.
What do you have on? Now, I know we at the lounge, but we got a whole jumpsuit with holes all up the jumpsuit, like we at the strip club.
There's holes in the catsuit?
This is the surprise side.
Good.
It's like,
It ain't on the other side?
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see a problem with what Chrysanthemum had on. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a dude, so hey, if I see a nice cat suit, holes or otherwise, I'm like, yeah, I see you, shawty, I get it. But for me, she was in a club/lounge and she was dressed appropriately for that environment. It's not like they were meeting, at some 5-star restaurant and she showed up in a cat suit. They were in a club, they were hanging out. It worked for me. Now, I'm not a big fan of some of Alexis's wardrobe decisions, like them snakeskin boots that she had on last week. But hey, to each his own. You dress how you feel comfortable. Her style just, I don't know. I ain't necessarily a fan of that. However, that's how I feel. I don't see anything wrong about it. If you, agree, disagree, let me know in the comment section if you felt like she was too much or what she had on was too much for the club.
Can you tell me qualities that you look for in Baby Bro?
Fun. I want him to do the same stuff that I like to do.
What are your feelings around holidays, and can you cook?
I don't like interviews. Why you ask me all these questions? I just kind of want to talk and let it be organic.
Y'all, as I said before, I am not a fan of the whole grilling, questioning, interviewing aspect of the show whenever they bring the friends on. Because think about it. For me, would be two strangers, I don't know them folks, sitting down asking me a whole bunch of questions. I'm like, yo, why are you asking me if I can cook or not? I ain't cooking for you. If they want to know if I can cook, they can ask me. I ain't asking your damn questions. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit, grumpy or whatever. I don't know how you want to call it. But I'm like, dude, don't be asking me all them doggone questions. That's just how I feel about it.
They were real answers. Nice meeting you. New friends.
There you go.
And you, boo, don't forget who your number one is. All right? All right.
Like that.
You had a title.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm in the lead when it comes to this, and this is really no competition.
There's sometimes when I listen to Alexis, I wonder if she really does want Ron or if she just wants to be the person that won. Now, I get it. I know there's a competition aspect to the game. However, it seems like she's more concerned about being number one, meaning the person that finished first, as in she won the game, as opposed to really being his number one, meaning the person that is that special, woman in his life. It seems like she just really wants to win the game, to be the ultimate victor, as opposed to really and truly being that dude, that lady in his life.
Taniqua said basically, hey, do y'all both want to be promoting in the clubs or do you want to be king at a corporate level? Because Alexis with her, the way she moves and being a full force woman. She's a behind the scenes doer. So I left the situation pretty torn.
That's a great point, and it really does illustrate the difference between the two women. Now, I agree with him because Alexis, being a TV producer, she already knows how to move behind the scenes in order to make a production the best that it can be. She's not in front of the camera. She's one of those people that does all of the things, behind the scenes to make a good production great. So she knows how to move in that area. And if you stop and think about it, there aren't a lot of successful celebrity couples, because when you have both people who are in front of the camera, then things start to, it becomes competitive to a certain extent. That's why you don't see, like I said, a lot of celebrity couples, lasting long. Usually you look at Denzel and his wife, Paula, or is it Paulette? Anyway, with them, you see that he's obviously he's in front of the camera. He's a mega star, but his wife, she knows she's behind the scenes supporting him.
I'm really excited about this date that I have with David. And even though I had a date with Jason, I cannot deny the connection that I had with David. I want his friends to like me too.
I've said on countless occasions that when you have that person in front of you, you need to leave such an impact, make such a mark that no matter who they leave and go date or who they talk to, that all they can think about is you and the connection that y'all two have. David did that. He did that with Liz, and they had a connection. So, and Liz is saying it right now that, hey, even though I went out with Jason, I really was thinking about David and, the connection and, what the bond that they have and how special it was. The problem is that David is so traumatized by the fact that he was, cheated on in his past relationship based on the things that he said, that right now he's really bothered by the fact that not only did Liz go out on a date with Jason, but she had the audacity of kissing him. And that is bothering that dude, because that's something that he's still dealing with. And until he deals with that, I don't think he can really move forward with Liz the way that they were before.
So what do you feel like is necessary in order for you to be successful in a marriage that you're looking for?
I think great communication, operating in grace with each other.
Communication is key. I've said that for I don't know how long. Whenever I have my conversations about dating and relationships, I always analogize a relationship to a three-legged stool. Now, the three legs of that stool are sex, communication, finances. And when all three of those two come together, the two in the relationship, they're sitting on a foundation of trust. Now, if any one of those legs, because think about it, that stool is balanced just right. But if any one of those legs starts to falter, starts to wiggle, starts to wobble, then sooner or later, the whole relationship starts going like this, and it's going to topple over and fall. And what we see right here is, Liz is exercising one of those legs. She's communicating with David that, hey, I went out with Jason. This is what happened. Now, she cannot control David's reaction. However, that's where the second part of her response to the question comes in. Grace. You have to be able to understand that, hey, that other, especially David has to understand that Liz is a grown ass woman. If she wants to go out, especially in this process, if she wants to go out on a date with Jason and do adult things, that's up to her. It's now up to David to process his feelings and understand, okay, is this what I want to do moving forward? Is the honest communication that she gave me what I'm looking for? It's now up to the ball's essentially in David's court.
Something that just recently happened with Liz. She went on a date with Jason. She called me the very same night. She didn't want me to hear from anywhere else that she had kissed Jason. She says at the end of it, my heart is still with you. You are my number one. But of course I'm feeling some type of way.
So Liz communicated the situation, and like I said, she cannot control his reaction. I wholeheartedly believe that David is still dealing with the trauma from that past relationship where he was cheated on, and his defense mechanism moving forward is control. He wants to be able to control the situation, and if he can't, he damn sure wants to control the outcomes. That's not going to happen when you're dealing with a fully functioning, autonomous human who is Liz. She's her own person. She's going to do her own thing. And like I said, just because David wants to have that control doesn't mean he can have it, and that's going to be a problem.
Now I'm trying to just be use a little bit more wisdom. So you factor in all of those things, it does slow it down a bit for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to compromise what I'm looking for. I don't feel like I know enough about Liz. I have to make a decision, which I'm still making, as to what I do with that information.
I honestly believe that David is looking for the impossible, which is a woman that would never hurt him or betray him again. Now, I think that, when they first started talking and they had those real deep, honest conversations about, abstinence and celibacy, and shameless plug, that's going to be the topic of my next Markland Mondays conversation where I do it live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's going to be June 7th. So please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please make sure you do. That way you can have notifications of when I go live, and you can be sure to join the conversation as, like I said, we're going to be talking about abstinence and celibacy. We've been talking about that for a while when it comes to not Vernisha, when it comes to Liz and David. And I got my own feelings on it. A couple of y'all were like, nah, Chris, you 100% wrong. So we're going to talk about it. But anyway, back to David and Liz. Um, David, and I think that once they had that conversation, I honestly think, this is my opinion, obviously, but I think that he confused the fact that, Liz is abstinent and, is she abstinent or I can't remember which one, but with them both being celibate / abstinent, I think that he confused that with intimacy. And I think that once, she told him about the kiss that she and Jason shared, that violation of the intimacy really triggered him. I know I'm going on and on about this, but I really think that this is why therapy is so important, because he's still dealing with the trauma. I'm telling you, because he's still dealing with the trauma of being hurt before. Once again, he's instantly transported back to that space. His feelings are now in it, and he is so, distanced now from Liz that they're not able to move forward because he hasn't dealt with the past.
I don't know, Liz, I really do want to make sure I'm taking time and not jump into anything. And y'all know the reasons as to why, right? I followed my heart, but now I'm trying to just be a little bit more, use a little bit more wisdom. So you factor in all of those things, it does slow it down a bit for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to compromise what I'm looking for.
This is a perfect example of a man that knows that he's found the right one for him, but he's doing everything possible to potentially lose her. I get it. The dude is hurt, and understandably so. From the minute that he saw her, I think the very first episode, remember, they were singing gospel music together. Their connection was so strong. They were really vibing with each other. So now, like I said, this, the territorial thing that Vernisha was talking about, this is it right here. He basically, had her locked in. And you remember the episode when they went to the masquerade ball, he was like, yo, I want everybody to see that we're together. So in his mind, he's thinking that they are together. And as far as he's concerned, she violated that by going on the date with Jason and the kiss. The problem is now, though, what he's doing is he's trying to couch his feelings, his hurt feelings, and trying to, be logical, saying, well, I just want to make sure that in my mind everything is right. Because once you move things away from the heart, away from how you feel, and you move it to the rational mind, what you're doing is you're trying to protect your heart, because you never hear anybody talking about brain breaking, but they talk about heart breaking. And that's what he's trying to do now by protecting his heart, by being as logical as he possibly can. And there is no logic when it comes to love.
Knowing David as much as you know him and what he's been through, do you guys feel like that he's ready to love again?
I definitely think he's ready for it. He's absolutely ready.
Good.
Like I said, y'all, these interviews are two-way. Even if you're going to interview him for a job, or if you are, meeting his or her friends for the first time, ask them questions. Ask the friends those questions, and don't just listen to what they say. Watch the body language, because think about it. You're asking them a question about their friend that they've known, so they may not necessarily give you a completely honest answer with that person sitting in the room. So look how they react. Look how they, do they kind of roll their eyes? Do they, look away? Those things are clues that let you know, okay, let me dig deeper. Let me get a true understanding, so that way I can really and truly know the person that I'm interested in.
I do pick up that he is taking his time.
Yeah. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with him taking his time. I will be honest. What I would like is just more consistency.
This is the main complaint that I hear from women when we have our conversations about dating and relationships. And that complaint is consistency. They say that, the phone calls and the texts, they dwindle down from, being a daily thing to now it's weekly, if at all. And then all of a sudden out of the blue, they're like, hey, what's happening? And they ain't talked to that person in like a month. Also, they talk about, how dates drop both in quality and quantity. You know, where we were going out once a week, now they're saying that, hey, we're only going out, you know, once a month. And where we were going to a nice restaurant, now we going to Waffle House. You know, I personally kind of like Waffle House, but what I'm saying is that the quality of the restaurants have dropped as well. So, and I'm not saying that it's all the dude's fault, because quite honestly, if a guy's not interested, he's just not interested. He should probably say so, like, hey, you know what? I'm not necessarily feeling you. I thought we had something, but I'm going to go in a different direction. That would probably go a long way. And that's something I know us dudes have got to work on. But at the end of the day, the main complaint that one of the main complaints that I hear women making is that men aren't consistent.
You feel like she's receptive to the fact that you want to take your time?
I really don't know. I don't ever want to like jump in something and then I'm just like, oh wait, it's not really what I wanted.
You might not want to hear this, but there will always be doubts, especially when that person gets on your damn nerves. You can be like, God darn, am I doing the right thing? It's a part of relationships. That's just life. I don't care if somebody's been married to somebody for 30 years. They're going to be like, damn, what? Did I do the right thing? Man, that lady way back in high school, you know, I should have maybe talked to her. It happens. However, it's just like a job interview. They didn't just call you out the blue and be like, hey, you want a job? No, you went to them. All right. And there are going to be some days you're like, damn, I wanted this job, but do I want to get out of bed and go deal with these people? But guess what? You get up, you do what you got to do because of responsibilities and because of duty. It's the same thing when it comes to relationships. You know that you're with that person, and if they are worth it, if they are who you want to be with, you know, you're like, hey, I can overlook the nonsense because they, you know, you do a balance. Okay. It's like they get on my nerves, but damn, I love being with them. They make me laugh. And then you keep it pushing. David wants that reassurance that, you know, okay, everything's going to be perfect. It ain't going to happen, bro. There's no perfect person. Damn sure ain't no perfect relationship. You get up, make the best of it. You take the good, you take the bad, and then you really keep pushing forward to make things work.
I'm definitely a romantic with the right woman. That's a little bit.
Okay.
You come at me correct, I'll run some bath water. I would soak your body. I would rub your body. I would clean your body. I'm that dude.
Most dudes are actually romantic when they have a person to be romantic for. Now, they may not be very imaginative, very creative, but that doesn't change the fact that the feeling is still there. But that's where we run into the consistency conundrum. In other words, why am I going to keep being romantic for this woman that just takes it for granted and she ain't doing the things that I like anyway, which is what I was being romantic for? And then she's like, well, I'm just going to stop doing this because he ain't being romantic no more. I know he likes when I do this, but he ain't doing, you know, showing me the romantic side. So I'm going to stop doing that anyway. It's a huge cycle, and that's where things start to change.
I definitely like this one.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, okay.
At the end of the day, Jason is a 36-year-old man with healthy 36-year-old male needs and wants. So I get that they had the conversation and Jason said, hey, I would wait for you, you know, where they talked about her being abstinent. I just personally feel that at the end of the day, this dude is a dude and he's going to want certain things and he's going to want certain intimacy. So I honestly think that that would be an issue if he and Liz were to get together.
I just,
You aren't gonna let me get away with it.
soft lips.
Thank you.
I would hope that this moves forward and that this can turn into a relationship. I don't really want to look anywhere else.
Sexual chemistry, sexual tension, whatever you want to call it, sex is natural. Now, we know that Jason is feeling Liz. We get it. However, we also know that Jason is a toucher, Jason is a feeler, Jason is a kisser when he is really feeling the person that, you know, he's across from, be it what we see here with Kyra and also, you know, with Liz. Now, I personally think that if he and Liz were to get together, the sexual tension that they have between them would lead to sexual frustration real quick, and that's going to be some real problems in their relationship.
What did Shay say after she left?
Shay said she might be a little clingy too fast. That could be where the vibe that I'm worried about coming from. You know, I don't know if it's clingy, I don't know if it's territorial, but it kind of rubbed me wrong. I don't know where I'm at with that right now.
But did she say that though? because neither Shay nor Vernisha used the word clingy. None of them introduced that to the conversation. That was Joel. Now, don't get me wrong. Once again, we don't know. We're not privy to the private conversations between Joel and Vernisha. She very well could be clingy, but from what we've seen and from the conversations that they have shown, she isn't clingy at all. You know, she does like him. There is an attraction there, but for him to move from what she actually said, which was territorial, and then say, yeah, she's clingy, nah, I don't see how he made that leap.
I come from a background where, you know, encouragement is scarce. This is something you don't see in America. People inquiring about a brother and, you know, hearing all this good about when that's not promoted. And so to see that, man, it really made me emotional.
There are more dudes out here looking for real, true love than not. I definitely get what Jason is saying because, you know, the good dudes that are out here that are looking, it's hard for them to find that thing because you don't necessarily hear about those dudes that are just going to work, that are going about their day, going about trying to be the best versions of themselves that they can. But instead, what you do hear about are all them knuckleheads and the negativity that they are bringing to the table. And a lot of those negatives are then heaped upon the good dudes because now they've got to dig through all of that BS. I definitely understand where Jason is coming from because, quite honestly, we're not shouted out and celebrated the way that we should. It just comes with the territory and it comes with the place in society that we are right now.
They basically said, do I want to have fun and continue traveling and with Xanthium, or do I want to be on that Barack Obama next level, Michelle Obama thing? And she said Alexis could take me there. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this question. Are we trying to have fun? Or are we looking for something long lasting?
Why can't you do both? Why can't you have fun? Why can't you travel and be about your business all at the same time? Now, I get it. I've said for a long time that a good woman will give a man the push in order to keep going, and she'll also provide the power for him to even take it to the next level if, you know, they're on that same path. However, not every damn relationship, as soon as you get into it, is it, all right, we're a power couple. Let's be on our Michelle and Barack. It ain't that damn serious. I mean, life is meant to be lived. You ain't got but one, so why not have fun? Why not enjoy it and make the most of it with that special person on your side? So I get what they're saying, but yeah, you can do both. You can have fun, you can live, you can just live life to the fullest while being about your business at the same time.
Kyra.
I was flabbergasted. Vernisha been your number one this whole time. What is you doing, baby?
So Tommy asked the question, if things ended right now and you could only leave with one person, this dude pulls Kyra's name out of the gumbo. I don't get it. Of all, we haven't seen them have a conversation or go on a date outside of, I think they had that group date one time. In fact, I don't even think that they actually communicated. I think the last time that we saw them together on screen was like damn near the very first day that they met. So I'm trying to understand what happened between him and Vernisha, and more importantly, what kind of connection he's had with Kyra to the point that he's going to call her name and say, yeah, she's the one I would leave with. That's that BS right there that, quite honestly, going back to what I was talking about with good dudes, that makes it hard for good dudes to really and truly shine. Because up until this point, up until this episode, Joel was one of those good dudes who was consistent with the one woman that he connected with. And all of a sudden, something switched, and now all Kyra's name? Come on, bro. Come on.
Man, Benicia. Last night on the phone, we had a little miscommunication, and it made me feel some kind of way. So at the time, I said Kyra. So me saying Kyra was just some old off-the-top head, look, we got good conversation. If I had to do it right now, let me go with the good conversation. Man, Venetia's still a baby, you heard me?
So basically, Kyra is a Kleenex for him to cry into because Vernisha hurt his feelings. Is that fair to Vernisha? Is that fair to Kyra? And honestly, is that fair to him? Now, I don't understand that now Vernisha is now clingy, she's now controlling, and she's territorial. I don't know what kind of conversation they had that Vernisha now became all of these things, you know, that to the point that he's just going to drop her and run to Kyra, a woman that, from what we've seen, like I said, we haven't seen them have any type of conversations or dates. But yet and still, whatever Vernisha said, that's it. I'm done. Nah, bro.
Home of one.
today.
There's no, no, hear me out. Because I'm not trying to go home with multiple.
You got to give me one.
Well, we all going home with Kyra.
What the hell are you dudes doing, bro?
I ride for my dudes, but this right here is some real BS. I don't know what the hell, like Jason, I don't know what the hell these dudes are doing. It's like now they're using Kyra because the women that they're really interested in, be it David and Liz and Joelle and Vernisha, because those women hurt their feelings in whatever way, now all of a sudden we're going to go run to Kyra. Whereas you have Jason and AJ who have been really trying to, work a relationship with Kyra, and they may have other interests, Jason, with Liz, different connections. The point being that those two dudes are really trying to form a meaningful connection with Kyra, and the only reason that Joelle and David are throwing Kyra's name into the mix is because their feelings are hurt.
Yo, how many connections Kyra got? How much time in the day you got?
4 Kyras.
Kyra. Ain't got that many like that, huh?
Yeah. Wow.
So now Kyra's name and reputation is at stake because you have a problem with Liz acting like an adult and going on a date with another adult. That right there is some bullshit. I don't recall David mentioning Kyra's name. I don't remember seeing them going on a date together. I don't remember, seeing them having phone conversations together. In fact, David wasn't even present in the very last episode. Once again, I get it. There may be some editing and some stuff that we haven't seen. However, for him to make that comment like, damn, how she got that much time in a day is making it sound like Kyra's the one moving reckless, when in reality it's these two dudes, Joelle and David, who are doing some real foul stuff by using Kyra as a pawn in whatever damn relationship games they're playing, and that's not fair to her.
Special as Liz, she a good vessel. She called me the night y'all kissed.
I'm just glad that is out there.
She was like, I did this, but David, I'm sorry. My heart is with you, and it's weighing on me, bro.
Okay.
And that right there is the heart of the problem. Now, I don't see why she would apologize if she actually did apologize, because quite honestly, she didn't do nothing wrong. However, if she's trying to make things, quote unquote, right between, herself and David, then so be it. That's between them. However, what I do know is this: the only reason this dude brought up Kyra's name is because he's trying to get back at Jason. That's just how I see the little games that he's playing right now, because there is no connection between Kyra, but he does know that Jason is feeling Kyra. So as such, he's trying to mess up what Jason and Kyra have because he feels Jason messed up what him and Liz have. It's nonsense, it's childish, it's messy as hell, and at the end of the day, Kyra's reputation is not at stake because David can't handle what happened between Liz, Jason, and between Liz and Jason and their date.
I think she's ready for a relationship. I have a connection with her. She picks up my phone calls. I felt KG was trying to throw Chrysanthemum under the bus because she wasn't giving him no play. He's a niche market guy that probably needs a niche market girl, and that ain't who Chrysanthemum is.
I don't know what the hell happened this episode, but some of these dudes are turning some real, I don't know what happened, but Tommy asked all of the dudes about how they felt about Chrysanthemum. Joel gave his feedback, a couple of the other dudes, and then KG gave his as well. But for whatever reason, Ron decides to take issue with what KG has to say, talking about he's throwing Chrysanthemum under the bus and, he's a niche guy. Man, that's that shady nonsense that really and truly is, I don't get where that's coming from. Maybe there's a history between them. Maybe something was said, but KG didn't say nothing out of the way towards Chrysanthemum. He gave his honest opinion based on the fact that he went out with the woman. So I don't quite understand where that little hostility is coming from.
Invite these ladies out, tell them what they need to know. You have to let one of them go.
Well, here we are at that part of the show. It's elimination time, which means that this week, one of the ladies will be sent home. In the hot seat is Liz and Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum, I kind of understand. Liz, not so much because, well, we just talked about all that. Let's see what happens.
Men be in their feelings, they cannot take what they dish. Really, me not texting you back is gonna make you get rid of me, then I don't need to be with you, because that's a red flag right there, so whatever.
Ladies, call it what you want. You can call it unfair. You can call it a double standard, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, you cannot do what men do, and you can't move the way that men move. I get it. It may not be, fair. fine. However, if you want to move like a man, just be advised that heterosexual men ain't looking for another man. So you trying to act like one, it's not necessarily going to work out in your favor. It is important for you to return a text. It is important for you to return a call because a man with options, he ain't going to be checking for you long. So, like I said, may not be fair, double standard, whatever the case may be, but to a man with options, you not returning his call is a big deal. Now, with all that being said, Chrysanthemum, she has been eliminated. And that leaves us with 5 women and 6 men. So more than likely next week, one of the guys will be sent home. Y'all, like I said, I don't know what the hell happened with some of the dudes this week, specifically Joel and David. I kind of understand David. You know, we kind of see where David's coming from, or at least I kind of have an idea where he's coming from. Not so much Joel. So next week, I'm really looking forward to see how things turn out. So far, like I said, I wasn't expecting this episode to be what it was regarding the fellas, but stuff happens. You deal with it. So I kind of like it. I want to see how things things progress next week. Be sure to join me next week. But in the meantime, please make sure you follow me on my social media, Instagram and Facebook at author Christopher Markland. Twitter is author_Chris M. I can never remember that one. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Like I said, we got a couple things coming down the pike. So I look forward to seeing y'all down the line, but definitely next week. So y'all have a good one. See y'all next week. Stay determined.